A former Israeli cabinet minister is on a mission to help stabilize the Israeli economy. It involves a global campaign to sell bonds in the wake of two costly conflicts.
Despite a multi-year war with thousands of reservists still fighting and the constant threat of terror attacks, the Israeli economy somehow remains resilient. This year, its gross domestic product grew by 3.4% in the first quarter, higher than the U.S. rate. In 2024, The Economist ranked Israel as the sixth best economy in the world. Dani Naveh wants to protect and strengthen that momentum. The former government minister now leads the Development Corporation for Israel Bonds. Since it started in 1951, worldwide sales have topped $50 billion. Their value can be seen in areas like the country's growing tech sector. Bonds also help minimize the war's impact, including the millions spent recently defending against Iran. Naveh knows firsthand of the war's cost. In June, an Iranian missile attack destroyed his family's home, with his children narrowly escaping injury.
Well, Dani Naveh, the president and CEO of Israel Bonds, joins us now from New York. So tell us about that attack on your home. We were trying to get an interview with you, and then this war, and then your own home. How did it affect your outlook on the war and on Israel?
Yeah, first of all, good morning, and thank you for having me, Gordon, on this important show. I can tell you that on June 19th at 12:18 a.m. here in New York, it was 7:18 in the morning in Israel, I received the red alert on the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces app, and sirens, warning sirens were sounding all over Israel on Iranian missile attack coming. And when the war started, my wife and I FaceTime our children since they entered the shelter. But this time it was completely different. 2 minutes later, we heard that deafening explosion, and our house had been struck by an Iranian missile. And when the kids emerged from the shelter, they discovered that most of the house was destroyed. And thank God, the children were safe, and the shelter saved their life. And I can tell you, Gordon, that although we lost our house, our family spirit, like most of the Israelis, remain strong and steadfast, because we all understand this is not just a war between Israel and Iran and its proxy terrorist organization. This is a war on the right of the Jewish state to exist.
Let's talk about the rebuilding effort. We're still in the middle of the conflict. The conflict in Gaza is ongoing. The new Syrian government doesn't seem to be friendly to anyone, and now southern Syria is a conflict zone. How is Israel going to rebuild in all of this? And particularly the Gaza envelope, that was the breadbasket. That's where most of the fruits and vegetables were being grown. How is Israel going to rebuild, and how do bonds help in that rebuilding effort?
First, I would like to say that the silver lining is that Iran and its proxy are unraveling thanks to the fact that the United States of America and Israel stand together strongly against our joint enemies. And as you have mentioned before, although the heavy toll, the Israeli economy is strong and resilient, and Israel bonds play an important role in achieving that. We have raised since October 7th, since that horrific day, we have raised more than $5 billion for Israel, and these funds have been an essential lifeline for Israel these days. And although the money that we already raised for Israel still needs us. And our mission, as you have mentioned, is to build Israel's tomorrow together. And this is our mission. And I can take this opportunity, of course, to approach our Christian friends. One of the best ways to stand with Israel, to express your solidarity with the people of Israel, is by purchasing a bond and being part of Israel's economy resilience.
All right, well, you've teed me up. Let's just talk about the reliability of the bonds. Since it was launched in 1950, has there ever been a default on an Israeli bond?
Never. So Israel has never defaulted, always paid its principal and rates on time, even during days that the Israeli economy was much more fragile than today's. Israel always kept its payment for the bonds. And I can tell you that if you take a look at the Israeli economy, as you mentioned, you can see amazing indicators of the Israeli economy. The shekel is stronger than it was before the war, the Israeli currency. The TASE, the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, has rose more than the S&P 500. If you take a look at the Israeli startups, you can see that they continue to receive significant millions of dollars of investments. Look up at NVIDIA. NVIDIA had just announced that they are going to invest billions of dollars, of US dollars, in the formation of a new facility in Israel, which means that the Israeli economy is strong and steadfast. And like always, Israel keeps its obligation to the bonds holders.
Well, let's talk about how people can buy the bonds. And I just want to underline, these are dollar denominated, so you're not taking a currency risk, and they're paying very competitive rates. It's well over 5%. So for viewers who want to invest in Israeli bonds, how can they start the process?
Well, we have different maturities with different rates, but we can get strong and steady return. And it's very easy to do it. You can just go on israelbonds.com. If you don't have an account, you can open an account and then move ahead with the purchase of the bond. If you already have an account, just go on israelbonds.com and purchase the bonds. And as I've mentioned, you have different maturities of the bonds from 2 years to 15 years with strong and steady return. And at the same time, not just a strong return, but a great opportunity to express your support and solidarity with the people of Israel. When you buy a bond, you build a bond with Israel.
Just tell me, what's your hope for Israel now? It looks like, as you said, the Iran and its proxies, it seems to be unraveling. I had hoped for a governmental change there. And as long as that theocracy stays in power, I think Israel's at risk. But what's your hope for Israel specifically, and then for the region?
Well, Gordon, I'm optimistic. I think that if you take a look at Israel's today and compare our strategic situation to where we were like 2 years ago, Israel strategically is much stronger today. And I'm optimistic that if we continue, and I'm sure that the United States of America and Israel friends and allies all over the world, and especially here in America, would continue to stand together against this axis of evil and against our enemies, they will not prevail. And we are going to emerge even stronger than where we were before the war started.
Well, Dani, thank you so much for being with us. I'm so glad your family is safe, that they all survived with no injury from that horrific attack. And we stand with you. You've opened up a whole new avenue to how to stand with Israel, how people can be a blessing to Israel, and at the same time get a very stable and a non-default bond is always a good idea. So if you want more...
I would like to thank you, Gordon, personally for everything you do for the people of Israel. I know that you are so committed for Israel's future, and I highly appreciate, together with all Israelis, for everything you do.
Thank you very much. If you want more information on how to invest in Israeli bonds and stand with Israel, we have information on cbnnews.com. You can just go there, and it's wonderful to have yet another way that you can stand with Israel.